And just looking at that, like, I'll take that role. I'll take the bad guy role, and I'll continue to take that on and be that for my teammates. And if I want to be that, and I know I'll go down in history, I'll look back in 20 years and be like, yeah, the reason why we watching women's basketball is not just because of one person, it's because of me too. And I want y'all to realize that.
So when you think about a rivalry in sports, what do you think about? You think about Michael, Magic, Larry, Isaiah, Wilt, Bill, Russell. You know what I mean? Like, what do you think about those in sports, as well as a cultural shift? I think of the duels they had. I think of Michael and the Pistons. What do you think about in the WNBA today? What do you think about rivalry in the WNBA? Is it good for the game? Is it bad? Today we have ESPN analyst Stephen A. Smith. He's going to give his viewpoints. I'm going to be reviewing it, and I'm going to give you guys my feedback throughout the video. If you like these type of videos, go ahead and drop a like, comment, share, subscribe, and help me reach my goal. Without further ado, roll the intro.
Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese. Kind of sounds a little bit like the conversation you just had about wanting the spotlight. This is what I said about it, and I love it. I want to see them going at it. I want to see them playing physical. I want to keep this racist crap off the court where it belongs. Some jamoke wants to talk like that, then go home. I don't want to hear it. I love this rivalry. I am here for every single second of it. Your thoughts?
Well, first of all, it's not a rivalry. Not when you lose about 35 points.
That's true.
It's not rivalry. Indiana Fever's on a different level than Chicago Sky. Let's get that out the way.
Stephen A. Smith says Caitlin Clark versus Angel Reese isn't even close to a real rivalry, but he's not the only one calling it out. Dan Patrick also points out that Clark is the real reason the WNBA is getting this much attention, not Reese. Analysts keep coming back to Clark's unique talent and commitment, hinting that Reese's fame mostly comes from her connection to Clark.
But her attention, her notoriety is based off Caitlin Clark. Because she wins the national title, first thing she does, she mocks Caitlin Clark. And then she doesn't even celebrate with her teammates. So she's made it personal.
But why does Angel Reese call this dynamic historic? And how does her villain role fit into the story? Make sure you hit subscribe and drop a comment on who you think comes out on top, because Smith's take is about to get even more direct.
So what do you think about that? Do you think it's a rivalry? Do you think it's good for the game? Do you think it'll generate more revenue, which is what the W wants to do anyway? Let me know in the comments below. Or do you think it's a simple race bait?
Secondly, as much as we love Angel Reese because she is special, she's not Caitlin Clark as a player. Caitlin Clark is on a different level. We just have to own that. Angel Reese can rebound the basketball. She's a damn good player. She's got a bright future in the WNBA, but Caitlin Clark is next level. That's number 2.
Look, Smith's main point is that Caitlin Clark is operating on a different level, and he's not just talking about highlight reels. He calls out Clark's record-breaking scoring during the NCAA tournament and the way she shattered Iowa's all-time scoring record as proof. You can see why he's so certain. Clark isn't just good, she's changing what people expect from a college basketball star. Smith points to her court vision and her ability to score in clutch, high-pressure situations.
Now you see, he went straight for the game. He went for what she meant to the game. He didn't care on what she is outside of the sport. I'm probably sure he's probably going to say something about that later, but when you just come into the league, you want your game to do the speaking for yourself. Come on.
Those are the traits that make her look like a pro even before she hits the WNBA. And Smith doesn't just leave it at stats. He gets right to the heart of what makes a rivalry real. It's not a rivalry when you're getting blown out by 35, he says, referencing the Chicago Sky's heavy loss to the Indiana Fever. In Smith's eyes, that kind of gap isn't just a bad night. It's evidence that these two players aren't really on the same playing field. He says that when one player is outpacing the other by that much, you can't call it a rivalry, no matter how much hype there is online. When it comes to Angel Reese, Smith doesn't ignore her talent. He admits she's a very good player, but he's blunt about where her fame comes from.
Number 3, Caitlin Clark's or Angel Reese's popularity in large part is attributed to her behavior towards Caitlin Clark. Because when Caitlin Clark was busy taunting opponents a couple of years back before LSU smacked Iowa around in the national championship game or so, it was Angel Reese that was clapping back at Caitlin Clark once it was Caitlin Clark's turn to have her come up.
You see that? The clapback was only after. You know what I mean? Like, she had her turn, now she's gonna have her turn. It's good for sports. Just keep it on the court. Keep the game on the court. Let the game speak for yourself. Everybody's making this bigger than it has to be, and it's not cool. It's not cool for the game. It's not cool for the NBA. It's not cool for the people. It's not cool for nobody. But here we are.
And that's what made Angel Reese famous.
According to him, Reese's popularity is mostly tied to her viral moments, especially her interaction with Clark during the NCAA championship game and all the talk that followed on social media. He says Angel Reese's popularity in large part is attributed to her behavior towards Caitlin Clark. That's not the same thing as dominating on the court game after game. Smith's argument is that being part of a viral moment isn't the same as building a legacy through performance.
But the eyeballs on the WNBA really have to do with Caitlin Clark. Now, you might, if you stay long enough, maybe you'll see something or someone that you go, okay, I'm entertained by this. But there's nothing wrong with admitting that you watch a sport because of one singular person. People watch golf because of Tiger.
Now, growing up, I'm guilty of it. Watching a game for one person. That was Michael Jeffrey Jordan. Now, Michael Jordan had the game in lock, but he had opponents. He had players like Iverson, Magic, Kobe, John Stockton, Karl Malone, Dennis Rodman, like players like that to go against. And then he showed and proven why he was the GOAT. Why he was who he is. So I think, me personally, this makes the game even better. Having a rivalry in the sport, not off the court, not in, all the other BS.
For him, that's the big difference. Clark is rewriting the record books, while Reese is riding the wave of attention those moments create. Smith also points out that Clark's approach to the game sets her apart. He describes Clark as laser focused, the kind of player who is all about putting in the work, leading her team, and showing up when it matters most. Smith says you see it in the way Clark's teammates rally around her, in her consistency, and in her ability to step up in big games. But he doesn't see that same sustained dominance from Reese. She's talented, yes, but Smith argues her reputation is built more on moments than on a track record of taking over games.
But these are not players of the same stature. They're not it. Like,
and that's not an insult to Angel Reese.
No. Caitlin Clark's different, right? Like, I think that's something that a lot of people just need to come to terms and understand here is much of the why Caitlin Clark and not other people is that the other people are not Caitlin Clark. Like, strictly talking about this is basketball. She's it.
And Smith isn't alone here. Dan Patrick echoes a lot of these points, saying the real surge in WNBA attention is thanks to Clark, not Reese. Patrick says the eyeballs on the WNBA really have to do with Caitlin Clark. It's another way of saying that Clark is the one driving the conversation and the ratings, not just for her own team, but for the league as a whole.
Okay, let me go ahead and say something real quick. I think for both players, Reese and Angel, it's good for both. Like, I wouldn't say, it's just all on Caitlin. I'd be like, all right, cool. But who is Caitlin going to go after? Who is, a good David and Goliath story? Who is, and I'm not saying Angel's Goliath or David or whatever, vice versa. I'm just saying for them to clash and actually have, this back and forth on the court is good for the game. I think when it blows up, it becomes something else. Egos, feelings, emotions, drama gets, in the way. If this was me and I had a rival in the game and I'm like, all right, cool. Well, it is what it is. It's not stopping my bread. Like, if I don't step outside myself and keep it on the court, then cool. But people have to stop thinking about it being more than what it is. It's a game. It went from college to the pros, just like Magic and Bird. It started in college. That's not a rivalry that we can compare to this, but it's a tiny, 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 tiny step in the right direction.
So if Clark's on another level, why is Reese leaning into this narrative and calling it historic? Let's hear her side.
She made a lot of money NIL-wise for last year.
Angel Reese isn't shying away from the spotlight. She's stepping right into it and making her intentions clear. She's heard the talk about being the bad guy, and instead of dodging the label, she's using it. Reese said herself, "I'll take that role, the bad guy role, and go down in history for it." She's not just reacting to what people say, she's making a deliberate move to own the narrative and turn it into something bigger than herself.
Yeah.
For Reese, being the so-called villain isn't a setback. It's a way to keep women's basketball at the center of attention, even if it means taking the heat.
But there's nothing about her game that's really interesting that is going to translate to people who may not watch the WNBA, may not care about basketball. She is a social media star, and she has capitalized on that. And maybe she embraces being the villain. But make no mistake about it, Caitlin Clark is the reason why everybody has an opinion on what happened in that game.
She's pointed out that all this attention started with the national championship game. That's where the world saw her clap back at Caitlin Clark with the "you can't see me" gesture. And suddenly everyone was talking about Angel Reese. She knows exactly what that moment did for her profile and for the sport.
And Angel Reese knows a ring is coming.
So she also knows what branding does and marketing does. Even in college, she was like, all right, cool, I'm going to go down like this. Da-da-da-da. She knows what she's doing, so she's not being naive to that. So maybe that, those dollars can come her way in a different light. Now, if it's just about money, then that's one thing. But people play the game for the championships and, to get paid. But she's smart. She knows what she's doing. Angel knows what she's doing. She just got to hone it in and keep it together.
Reese is open about the fact that she's playing into the villain role on purpose. She sees how the attention, even the negative kind, is making people tune in. She said, "Negative things have probably been said about me, but honestly, I'll take that because look where women's basketball is." In her mind, if being the foil to Clark means more eyes on the game, then it's worth it. She's willing to be the one people love to hate if it means the sport grows. That's her calculation. The rivalry isn't just about two players on the court, it's about building something bigger for everyone watching.
And just looking at that, like, I'll take that role. I'll take the bad guy role, and I'll continue to take that on and be that for my teammates. And if I want to be that, and I know I'll go down in history, I'll look back in 20 years and be like, yeah, the reason why we watching women's basketball is not just because of one person. It's because of me too, and I want y'all to realize that. Like, it's not just because of one person.
But here's where things get complicated. Is this self-made villain play smart brand building or a sideways step from real on-court rivalry? Next, we break down what Bomani Jones had to say. When you zoom out, the rivalry between Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese isn't just about basketball anymore. It's tangled up in all kinds of online drama and deeper issues. Bomani Jones has called the atmosphere around this storyline almost unbearable, pointing out that the drama, the non-stop takes, and the endless arguments are making it hard to actually enjoy the game. He says the conversation has drifted so far from the court that it's easy to forget why people started watching in the first place.
There is a Magic Bird element, obviously, to these two players.
Told you.
The problem, Angel Reese ain't no Magic Johnson.
Good player, not Magic Johnson.
Jones pulls in a vivid comparison to the Bird Magic rivalry, but with a twist that really says a lot about what's happening now. He imagines if Bird and Magic had played in the same conference, society would have combusted. That's how explosive the Clark-Reese matchup feels online. Instead of just celebrating two stars pushing each other, the focus has shifted to picking sides and fueling controversy. Jones sees Clark cast as the dominant star and Reese as her foil, but the way fans talk about them goes way beyond basketball.
Catchings. I mean, there are so many great players, but maybe they didn't capture your imagination. Caitlin Clark has. People watch. Now everybody wants to have an opinion on this. And that's where it clutters, muddies up everything that the women have tried to do.
Yo, so this is where we gonna end it at, y'all. Let me know what y'all think in the comments below. I appreciate all the love and support we're getting on this channel. Go ahead and drop a like, share, subscribe if you're new. If you ask me, it's good for the game, it's good for the sport, it's good for basketball to keep the rivalry on court, whether it is or it's not. I love the competition. Let me know what's the next video I should react to. Go ahead and follow me on ShaneBlackReacts. Link is in the description. Brands, go ahead and email me, ShaneBlackReacts@gmail.com. Till next time, I'm going to see y'all in the next video.